Hey, you guys. My name's Todd Burke. I'm a recording engineer here in Los Angeles. And I don't know. I spend, probably half of my time bouncing back and forth between score mixing in surround and upmixing records in Atmos. So I spend a lot of time between lots of speakers. And I'm also a long-time Antelope user. So I'm here today, though, to talk about or I guess sort of a deep dive on a tool for surround mixers that I'm super excited about that Antelope is launching this week, actually. So a lot of us are scrambling around this year trying to get our heads around Atmos mixing, right? With Tidal and Amazon, Apple Music now, streaming immersive formats, as mixers, it's becoming more and more crucial to get our rooms and our workflows up to speed. I've had the pleasure of acting in sort of a consulting role on this project with some friends at Antelope, and we've designed what's in essence a software upgrade which runs on your existing interface, transforming it into a virtual speaker controller for surround mixing. And it'll handle anything from stereo to a 9.1.6 Atmos-ready. And it all takes place in a new tab in your Antelope control panel that we route in and out of in the matrix. At the moment, it's available for the Galaxy 32, with the Galaxy 64 to follow, and I'm told that there are plans for other interfaces at some point down the road. So, like I said, I've been mixing surround formats for years, from 5.1 to 7.1 on film scores, and now Atmos on records. And in the past, working these formats required a fair amount of hardware to get your room functioning. But it's an exciting time right now with several companies releasing new products to help us get going in surround. And I'm particularly thrilled about Antelope coming through with this new functionality as a simple software upgrade, like I said. So let's get into this. Like everything in this Antelope ecosystem, right, we're going to start here in the routing matrix. In order to get audio in and out of the surround tab, we'll need to virtually patch it. So you'll see here I've got some new possibilities called surround in and surround out. In my case, I'm going to start by patching Dante 1 through 14 to surround in. And then the surround out, I'm using 14 channels. I'm going to go to my lineouts. And this is my setup, of course. You may be using DAW outputs or HDX paths in your setup. I'm simply using the room I'm in as our example. Point being, we need to make these initial patches in and out of the surround tab. And then if we jump over to the surround tab, here it is. So your initial setup is going to be something like this, right? You're going to choose your format. Again, in my case, I'm 7.1.6. Let's say you're 7.1. This is entirely hypothetical. Some of these selections have a path order selection. So, for instance, for 7.1, there's a SMPTE format and there's a film format. So that simply changes the path order here in the tab. Changes the labels, the path order. Functionally, it's the same. It's still just a 16-channel sort of mixer. But by choosing the correct format, all your labels are going to be correct. So then, moving here, we're calling this a speaker layout. And essentially, it's a graphical layout of the speakers in your room. But it provides it's sort of the hub for a lot of the functionality here. So as you click through the various speakers, you'll see that this processing area changes. So you're going to select the speaker that you want to tweak, and you're going to do so. You've got equalization here, you have got a phase inversion, you've got a speaker trim, you've got speaker sort of arrival time delay, we're calling it, and then you can get it into bass management, which I'll show you here in just a second. But while we're still looking at the speaker layout selector here, a thing to note is that if I option click, then I'm muting speakers, or if I command click, then I'm soloing speakers. If I want to add a speaker, let's say I command click center to solo it. If I want to add another speaker to that solo group, I would hold shift and select the others. Okay? And then in order to get out of the solo, I command click out here in space anyway. And the same thing with option. Option is a mute. If I want to mute multiple speakers, I'd hold shift, clicking other speakers. And then to turn them back on again, I would just option click out here in space someplace. Okay? Directly above this, we see here's our metering. And we can switch that from pre and post. So meaning pre and post surround tab, essentially. So in a pre position, what you're metering is what's feeding the tab straight from your DAW or straight from the Dolby renderer, or sort of however you're working. And then post, you're going to be metering the signal after the surround tab is processing and post the surround level knob. So we'll leave this in pre. And then moving across here, we have what we're calling lip sync delay. This is an overall delay for the entire tab. You're delaying all the channels going through the tab. You know, this can be useful, I suppose, in post-production in order to get the get especially dialogue lined up with the video you're watching. Next to that is total delay bypass. This will delay not only the surround delay here, but any per channel delay that you have set. And then we have EQ bypass, which bypasses per channel equalization across the entire surround tab. Surround level this is your volume control, and this is can be adjusted here. It can also be adjusted from the front panel of the Galaxy 32, and it has got a dim and a mute functionality along with it. So then let's look at the settings per speaker. Again, we make a choice here on which speaker that we are adjusting at a given point. So I'll choose front left, and essentially we have a trim here that adjusts in 1 dB increments until I hold command, at which point it begins adjusting in tenths of a dB increments. So this is a super quick way to make fairly precise adjustments. Other things per channel, we have a copy EQ and paste EQ command here. I could certainly copy the EQ from this channel, paste it to this one. It's fantastic. So then let's get into the bass management portion of this device. If I choose the LFE channel, then I get a couple of extra buttons here. And it's here that I can bypass bass management across the entire tab. Or if I choose this button, this is where I get to my bass management mixer. So the bass management mixer essentially takes a split of each channel's audio beneath the filter point that's either chosen here or here. These controls are linked, and sends it to this mixer in order to mix it to a mono output, which goes to your subwoofer, along with the LFE channel, which is here. So my setup, for instance, I'm crossing over all of my channels at 90 cycles. These are link buttons, which enable me to link the entire mixer. Very handy. So I'm crossing over my system at 90 cycles, and I'm sending all the audio below 90 cycles to my subwoofer, and all the audio above 90 cycles to the satellite speakers themselves. And you know, I've got a bunch of options here for that filtering. I can choose a filter type. There are these two. I tend to go with this one, but that's just me. You've got a filter order, and then of course you can bypass the filtering altogether. And then the same thing here. This is your low pass, and this is what we're actually sending to the sub. I found that it sounds best in my room to have the high pass and low pass set at the same place. I've fiddled a bit with having these sort of overlap a bit, and I keep coming back to setting these to the same value. But that's it. So then, you know, these faders become the send to my subwoofer. And of course, the per channel, the low end from my satellite speakers are these faders, and this last fader again is my actual LFE channel. So that's a quick walkthrough of the surround functionality from Antelope Audio. I've been using it exclusively here in my place for several months now, mixing a couple underscores and a couple LPs now in Atmos, and I've absolutely loved it. My room sounds better than it ever has, and I've found this Galaxy 32 as speaker controller to really land in that sweet spot in providing the features that I need without getting super annoying and clunky and overwhelming with with endless options, right? So yeah, I mean, if you're looking at converting your room over to an immersive setup, I think you should give this one a look.